warnings and concerns and possible exams for officers, GHC, by any batteries, oils, juice, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of things that anarchists would be into. Yeah. There's a total black market thing about it and shop when I was in college. It is. Yeah. That's cool. For Christmas. That's like a couple points. Yeah. And I tell you what, so on my bike, definitely. It's like, you know, how heavy my surly is, right? So, to go to ride from a surly to, well, I tell you what, I did it in 2 weeks. Yeah. But it was intense, and it was, a lot of study.
I only worry about the
I got like,
5 to 15 minutes early or there.
that's usually about how long it takes. I mean, it's not tough, right? It's
Because it used to just be a long line when it's first come, first served. But yes, but you still have to get it. I'm sorry. Just gonna start with a little ride. Starts with a little walk. 3, 2, 1. My name is Maura. This is the atmosphere. This is a 160-year-old planetarium. So it was made in the year 1913. And it's basically a big metal ball. We drilled out 700 holes in the big metal ball. And so the inside is the light like the outside was and once to the inside, and we perceive that as stars. The holes were drilled meticulously so that what we are looking at in here is Chicago's night sky in the year 1913. Take 1 to 10. Please don't turn on. Please don't leave. 2 minutes to find out what you do. So, this is Chicago's night sky in 1913. It's pretty cool, right? 350 at any given time. Back before electricity, they would have seen a few thousand. So that is a huge difference, and that's just because of our electricity habit. So all of our street lights, car lights, building lights, billboard lights, cell phone lights, all of our lights go up into the atmosphere, bounce around, and block our view of the night sky, just like the sun does during the day. So we just don't see this anymore, and they didn't see the thousands that you could have seen before them. But this is what you saw in 1913, and I'm going to turn on some constellation lines to help us talk about it. And then I'm going to make the sky spin so we can see the whole year instead of just a little snapshot. As you look around, do you recognize any of the objects up there right away? The Big Dipper, yeah, where you see it. Yeah, so that's the little one, but that's pretty close. So this is the big one over here. So this is the handle and the cup of the Big Dipper. Those 7 stars are much easier to pick out in the real sky because they're super bright and you basically just see it. It's definitely the first thing that I see when I look up in the night sky. And when you find it, you can take these 2 front stars in the cup of the Dipper, follow them out about 4 to 5 lengths, and you end up in the tail of the Little Dipper. They sort of like toss soup back and forth between each other. They're always like that with each other. And if you find the little one, you can find this star. Do we know what that star is?
Polaris?
Polaris, which is our North Star. Finding Polaris is useful for two really big reasons. Firstly, you can use it to find our cardinal directions. So if you take Polaris, it's our North Star, so it's in the north. If you follow it straight down to the horizon, we found our cardinal direction north. If you do that well, it's more accurate than a compass. If you found north, that means that this is east over here, so in Chicago it's the lake. This is west over here, and this is south over here. The other reason it's useful to find Polaris is because it is the only object in our sky that does not appear to move. Polaris is directly above our North Pole in space. If you made an imaginary line continuing out of Earth's axis through our North Pole out into space, it would basically hit Polaris. And so as Earth rotates on its axis, it stays put while everything else appears to rotate around it. So it's going to stay right there the whole time we're in here. Things nearby, like the rest of the Little Dipper, are going to do a little circle around it. Things further out, like the Big Dipper, are going to do a big circle around it. And anything further out than about the Big Dipper, from here in Chicago, rises over here in the east, comes up, and sets over here in the west, just like the sun, the moon, the planets, things that we're used to. And so that's what we're looking at in here, and that's my brief little orientation. The rest of the time we're in here is up to you guys what you want to know. I'm here to answer your questions. So, we've got about 10 minutes. What would you like to know?
Trying to think of something.
Sorry. They don't have to be good questions. I will take, what's that wibbly thing up there? That looks like a cat.
Didn't the North Star used to guide our ancestors home?
It's guided a lot of people in a lot of ways. One fun thing to know about the North Star is that right now, Polaris is our North Star, and it is very constant and has been for most of modern human history. But it has not always been our North Star, and it will not always be our North Star. Earth moves in three ways. It moves daily on its axis, it moves yearly around the sun, and then it moves spinning like a top in a motion that we call precession every 26,000 years. And as it does that, where north points in space changes. And so it points at different places. 5,000 years ago, this star called Thuban was our North Star. Thuban would have been the North Star about the time when the pyramids were being built in Egypt. And so we've used our North Star for navigational purposes, but what the North Star has changed.
Do they estimate that light pollution will continue to get worse to the point where we might not see hardly any stars?
I think that really just depends. For instance, Chicago just started changing its lights. They are moving from high-pressure sodium bulbs, which are that sort of orangey glow we're all pretty used to, into a more modern LED bulb, which is whiter and brighter, and we don't really know what that's going to mean for our light pollution. And so I think there's both movements to get, brighter light, more light, and things going on at the same time as there are people really fighting for better night skies. And so we have both wars going on simultaneously. I don't know. There are some places where they turn off their lights at night so that you can see the sky. There are places that are registered dark sky parks. There's a first in Illinois. Just recently they started one. It's in southern Illinois, but there is one in Illinois where for a certain radius around there you can't have lights at night so that people can see the sky. There's some really good dark sky parks in the West.
Is there anywhere around Illinois you can go where there isn't any light pollution?
Not nearby. The Midwest is pretty bad for light pollution, both because of the numbers of cities and industrial areas we have, and because it's flat, so there's nothing to contain that light. Unless you're going to go out in the middle of the lakes, that's the best you can do. If you can take a boat out into the middle of the Great Lakes, you can get pretty good dark skies. Otherwise, you pretty much have to get to places like northern Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula, things like that. The West has a much better time because of the mountains. Well, when it opened, it was a public planetarium, and it would have been used a lot like our planetarium. It's for public use. They would have brought people up. There was no cart at the time. There were stairs and a platform. But you would have climbed up those stairs, stood on a platform, and looked at, these lights didn't exist, but you would have looked at this. And they would have talked to you about the sky and what you would have seen and about what you'd see tonight. You know, I don't know the specifics of what those looked like, but they were public engagements, a lot like our Skywatch Live show and other classic planetarium shows. 1800s, I don't know the exact year, I could find it very easily if I had Google, but I don't know but somewhere in the 1800s. But Chicago was a major trading location, even by like the natives who predated our like western settling of this area, because it was a portage between the Mississippi River and the Great Lakes, and so you could come in from the ocean through the Great Lakes and then portage through this area to the Mississippi River, and so this was a major trading hub long before people came and like settled as a western modern city.
What is that?
This one right here?
Yeah, that.
That is the Pleiades. Those are the seven sisters, the seven seeds, Subaru. We have a Subaru car, that's the emblem. We have 8 stars in here. In most places they call them the 7 sisters and seeds because that's what you see. The Subaru emblem you'll notice has 6, not 7. They are a bunch of baby stars. They were all born together. They're only about 150 million years old, so they were born while there were still dinosaurs on planet Earth. And there are, in reality, hundreds of stars in that small area. That's just what we see from here. In Chicago, we see it's like 1 star right now. But they're pretty cool, and it's cool that they're actually close to each other, because most of these stars may look related, but are not necessarily any closer to each other than we are to them. But those stars are actually close to each other. I'm gonna turn off the sky. It's gonna be a bump again in 3, 2, 1. Thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you. His great market is just in the very end. It's going to supernova. It might have already supernova. It's about idea how long, like, they know about it.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this Atwood show, smash the like button, turn the notification bell, subscribe. If you guys want a part 2 to the Atwood, again, I suggest you guys smash the like button, turn the notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one later. Love you guys, peace, and bye. And I'm out of storage. Love you guys, I'll see you guys in the next one later. Love you guys, peace, and bye.